Hey beautiful humans, I'm RidersDX, and today we're going to be talking about what we could potentially see in a sequel to Sonic Frontiers. And so I have 3 things I want to see in the successor to Sonic Frontiers, so we're going to go through each of those 3 things, and also just sit down and play some Sonic Frontiers, because I actually have not checked out the DLC update for this game yet, so it'll be a really cool thing to kind of go into. I'm already seeing that you can select music, so I got Mystic Ruins playing in the background right now. OP choice, just so you all know. The reason I really wanted to talk about Sonic Frontiers in particular and what potential sequel could be like is because we recently got some very promising financial information about Sonic Frontiers. So Sega released, like, I think it's their annual fiscal report, and it turns out Sonic Frontiers is about to become a major game in the Sonic franchise sales wise, because it's revealed that Sonic Frontiers has sold over 3.2 million copies so far. Just to kind of give you like how insane that number is for Sonic, the best selling Sonic game, at least the best selling 3D Sonic game as of now, is the GOAT, the iconic, the one and only Sonic Heroes. That's right, Sonic Heroes is currently sitting on top as the highest selling Sonic game, at least 3D Sonic game. I had to keep remembering to say 3D Sonic game because the classic games have definitely sold more, but the best selling 3D Sonic game is currently Sonic Heroes at 3.4 copies. 3.4 million copies. What am I even saying? So 3.4 million copies of Sonic Heroes were sold up to this point. And the fact that Sonic Frontiers is closing in at that number in under a year. Oh, speaking of Sonic Heroes, the fact that Sonic Frontiers is closing in on that number within a year, not even a year, like half a year, is absolutely insane. You know, it makes you wonder, like, what has Sega been doing all these years? They could have made a game like this so much earlier and like gotten this success, but you know, better late than never. It's about time Sega actually understood that like video game quality will result in like sales, especially in this climate, because people love to jump on a bandwagon. You know, I mean, that IGN guy said it himself. He is sorry for ever saying that Sonic was never good, because that's obviously not true. And even if he had a really hard time back then, he's definitely in a really great place now. So it's very satisfying and very vindicating to see Sonic have this like shift in like critical and public reception. So it's pretty awesome. I really wanted to talk about Sonic Frontiers in particular because we are most certainly going to get like some kind of sequel to this game. Like, I would be shocked if Sega didn't come up with some kind of successor to this game. I mean, granted, Sonic Mania still doesn't have a proper successor yet, so you know, maybe it's not outside of the realm that Sonic Frontiers won't get a successor, but I just have a good feeling that Sonic Frontiers is going to get that treatment. I have a feeling that this is a concept that they're going to want to explore. I mean, they've even well, we got a little carried away, obviously. I mean, they've already outright said that they want to work on this formula more. They want to make another game just like it. And so I think we can kind of assume that it is going to happen. But obviously, Sonic team is very unpredictable. Like, they can do a bunch of different things. It's going to be really interesting to see how they actually, like, you know, follow up this game. But like I said, there's 3 things I really want to see in the successor to Sonic Frontiers. And so there's a lot of things I love about this game, but there's one thing I really want to see, like, in the next game. It's more diverse environments. And so I really think it was a good idea to like stay consistent and like, you know, keep these islands as like the main aesthetic for Sonic Frontiers. It definitely gave it like a very ominous and mysterious vibe that I think really worked in this game's favor, especially when it came to the marketing, because I think these islands, you know, it's like, where are we? Like, what are these places? And when are we going to learn more about them? Like, it was an attractive quality that dragged people into this game. You know, you just wanted to find out like what Kronos Island was all about and stuff. And so I definitely think that was a really great decision for this game. But in the successor, I really want to see them like have more diverse selection in terms of like what areas we can go to. I love running through these islands with Sonic, but I really want to see like an urban environment for Sonic to run through. You know, one of my biggest like dreams as a kid was like getting like an even bigger like station square than we got in Sonic Adventure. Like, it was already so much fun for me to run through Sonic Adventure, like spin dashing everywhere and just getting to all these different places. Imagine like being able to run through like a city environment way bigger than that with this control setup. I think that'd be such an awesome combo. And I also think that it's something that's heavily due with this formula, because whether you like it or not, even though Sonic has definitely like gotten a start in these like natural environments, a big part of his appeal is the fact that Sonic like does interact with the human world like pretty frequently. I mean, look at the Sonic movies, for instance. Like, that's all like human interaction, and it's just become a big part of Sonic's brand, despite the fact that they really did try to move away from it. As soon as Sonic Colors came out, Sonic has always had time of humans, and I really like that part about him. It's something that's pretty unique to him, you know, compared to other franchises in a similar vein. I mean, Mario kind of did it for the first time ever in Odyssey with the Metropolis levels, so it really has become like a big thing for Sonic in particular. Imagine being able to just run through like a huge ass station square, you know, being able to like get on top of buildings, fly past windows, the Sonic equivalent of Spider-Man basically. So I feel like that's something that definitely needs to be in the next game. You know, I'd love to see an updated station square or like whatever other like urban environment they want to do. Imagine if we got like a futuristic setting, you know, kind of similar to like Metal City from Sonic Riders. Like that'd be a really cool thing to see as well. So I don't know, I would love to see like kind of like the opposite from this game. It definitely would be harder to design in my opinion, because it's like these valleys really do lend itself to like being like really great for Sonic in particular. Like you can have all these different like rails and loops and stuff over here, and it makes total sense. So it doesn't have to be like the only environment type in the next game. I definitely would like them to at least attempt to do like a city environment, because that's such a staple in Sonic games. One thing I really enjoyed about Sonic Frontiers is how much they really revamped like the storytelling from previous Sonic games. While it's not like a perfect storyline, it definitely has so much more to offer compared to like Sonic Forces, the immediate game before it. Like, oh my gosh, like you can't even compare the two stories. It's crazy. But there's one thing I really liked about Sonic Forces, if there is anything to like, is that they at least try to involve as many Sonic characters as possible. Being able to see Knuckles, Team Chaotix, Silver, all the other characters in there, like seeing them come all together and like be a part of this adventure in some kind of form was something I really enjoyed. As someone who's like a huge diehard Sonic fan, I love all the characters in this franchise. I want to see them all be a part of this game if they can. This game continuing the open world formula, you know, you don't need to have all the characters be a major part of the main storyline, but you can have all the characters participate by being like side quests. You want like a side quest of like Silver coming to the past to stop something from happening in the future. That doesn't have to impact the main storyline. It could just be a side thing that you can do if you enjoy Silver as a character and want to hang out with him. So that's something I would love to see, and I think like a city environment, again going back to my first point, would really lend itself to that, because it's much more likely to see these characters like hang out in like a city environment with people rather than just like lying like randomly in throughout these islands and such. I think the tone that they went with Sonic Frontiers was pretty good, but I would like to see something a little bit more lighthearted in my opinion. Like I still think the intensity and stakes that they have for Sonic Frontiers is really well done. I'd love to see that continue. But you know, Sonic's also a fun character. Like you look at the Sonic movies, you look at Sonic Prime, Sonic knows how to have a good time and like joke around and stuff. And I feel like Frontiers just really didn't give itself room to do that, which it was understandable. I feel like the game really had a mission. It had a mission to really be taken seriously, and it wanted to do it in a way that was authentic. And so I don't fault the game for that. But if you're gonna have Sonic like kind of like interact with more people by going to like more of like city environment, I don't think it hurts to have Sonic be like more joyful and to be more outgoing and to have him like just do more stuff overall. So I hope that we get to see like a more fun Sonic. This might be a little biased, but I felt like Sonic Adventure 2 really had like a great balance between like a serious adventure but also letting Sonic kind of be himself. And so I would love to see like a story similar in tone to that. Shadow and like the whole colony like crashing to Earth, that was a really serious plot line and it really grabbed you as a kid. Sonic still went around like making jokes, like being himself. I would love to see a little bit more of that. My third point I want to see in the next game is I think might be a little bit controversial, but I want them to kind of like back off on the boost a little bit. I guess I'd be okay if it was still in it, but I really want them to kind of like switch out the boost mechanic for something else that's a little bit more momentum friendly, aka the spin dash. And so what I'm gonna be really interested in when like the last update for Sonic Frontiers comes out, I believe it was confirmed that they're going to add a spin dash into Sonic Frontiers. So seeing like how that's gonna function compared to the boost and seeing if people are gonna end up preferring one over the other is gonna be really interesting. Unless they screw up incorporating it, which it is possible. So I'm gonna not say the spin dash is definitely going to be an amazing addition to the game, but I can totally see it being a great addition to the game. And the reason for that is because a spin dash is inherently much more suited for an open world game compared to the boost. And examples I can give is like just look at the adventure games and seeing like how the spin dash in those games was utilized to really like effectively speed Sonic through those levels. I feel like that would just be so much more fun to do because it really gives you like more control over Sonic's speed overall, all compared to like just a simple boost button where you just click it and then Sonic just goes as fast as humanly possible. If you can control that speed a little bit, time it just right and take it up areas that is most effective, then it can really be like a game changer in terms of like being a great use to maneuver throughout all these environments, especially if there's going to be tons of mountains and stuff that Sonic can climb up. That spin dash can be really beneficial and just really fun to use. So I'm interested in seeing how that spin dash is going to be incorporated into the game when the time comes. If you want me to really go into depth as to why I think the spin dash is a better fit for this game than the boost, then check out this video in the top right corner. I'll also leave a link at the very end of the video if you want to check it out. But I think I make a pretty effective argument as to why I think the spin dash is a much better tool for this game compared to the boost. So I have something to confess. I do have a fourth thing I would love to see in the successor. It's kind of like off the walls, honestly, and it's something that's probably not going to happen, but then again, they've kind of hinted at it multiple times and they seem like they're in a real nostalgic kick right now, and so I guess it could happen. I would die, I would literally faint if we got to see the Child Garden come back. This is the perfect kind of game to put a Child Garden in. A game where you can kind of roam around freely, like doing things at your own pace. This is a perfect game to do a Child Garden in. More so than like the adventure games, arguably. The first adventure game was fine because you did have an adventure field, so you kind of did still have that aspect of like being able to slow down, kind of collect your bearings and do what you like. Sonic Frontiers, the game's layout is just so perfect for a Child Garden. You could literally travel around this environment, collecting like chaos drives for your Chow, and then you can like enter the Child Garden and like take care of your Chow and stuff, and you could even have your Chow come out to the playground and like do things. So like there's so much potential for a Child Garden in this kind of game. I understand that Sonic Frontiers is a huge experiment and that they really were just trying to make sure that like the core game experience was fine, which I totally respect and I'm totally glad they did that. But now that they have an idea of what they're doing, give us the return of the Child Garden. This is the perfect kind of game to put a Child Garden in. Ever since I saw that like Kickstarter game, I think it's called Poglings or something like that, I did back it, so I am supporting it. Ever since I saw that game, I have had such a craving for a Child Garden experience. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to talk about that game, because I'm really excited for that. But a Child Garden in Sonic Frontiers like gameplay, perfect combination right there. So come on, Sega, I know you're listening. You definitely have shown that you've been listening, so please, for all that is mighty, give us a Child Garden, please, Sega. But alright, y'all, let me know in the comment section below what things you'd want to see in a Sonic Frontier successor. Do you agree with my list? Do you think there are some things that I'm wrong about? Let me know why not. I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts. I feel like Sonic Frontiers is just such a great thing for this franchise. The fact that it took this long to best Sonic Heroes is pretty insane, actually. I'm surprised that games like Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Colors didn't do that, but it just kind of shows you how much more of a impact this game has had on a general audience compared to those games. I definitely think the movie's hype has definitely helped this game like reach its heights, but Sonic Frontiers also arguably did so much great stuff on its own, like being a brand new experience with Sonic, marketing it in a way that really intrigued people. Like, this game was just such a great home run for Sega, and I'm so proud of them. I can't wait to see what comes next. So yeah, thank y'all so much. This is Riders, riding out.